Well, thank you very much. Let me just get straight to it. Thanks for inviting me to this very important session. I listened very carefully to the keynote speaker and the other speakers, very attentively too, on this issue of judicial reforms. Uh, I've always believed in reform wherever you can find, wherever it's needed. And I believe as far as the judiciary is concerned, we must work hopefully towards international best practices with a sprinkling, of course, of our local circumstances. In this regard, I believe the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary have to work together and have to work in tandem in the best interest of Nigeria. I always, because I have a little bit of legal background in the United States and I practiced there for a while, just like I did in Nigeria. If we're doing comparative analysis, I want to look even beyond them. I got a lot of takeaways from the UK system, but I always like to look at the United States as well and go beyond the 2 or 3 countries that we have looked at today. In the United States, for instance, there's a particular landmark case that I would want to refer everybody to, which is Marbury versus Madison. It was an 1803 case. And that case actually established the preeminence of the judiciary in a democracy and its importance. I also always consider the fact that in the United States, judges are sometimes, if not most times, elected. The question then becomes, why are they elected as opposed to appointed? So if we want to consider this whole the whole issue of judiciary, we must look at all the alternatives. Now, because we also practice a presidential system of government, it's also good to borrow a leaf wherever we can from the United States. Can we elect our judges? Does it make for more transparency? Does it make for more or give for more accountability? These questions are questions that I'm throwing out there for us to begin to think outside the box and look at how we can make our judiciary work within the circumstances of Nigeria. For me, I listened again, like I said, to the UK experience. I was gratified to know that the JAC was more or less a very independent body with about 50% of the constituents of that body being non-lawyers. Indeed, a surgeon apparently is the chairman of the body in the United Kingdom. It was also interesting. Another takeaway was the fact that there was a very rich and robust support staff, from recorders to deputy high court judges. And there's no the reason for this is not far-fetched, because the workload of judges, can only be imagined. And I think it's important that we surround our judges with people who are competent before we even get to the judges themselves. If you look at the Supreme Court of the United States, again, I'm sorry, I'm going back to the United States. If you look at their judicial aides and clerks, these are people who come from the richest background in terms of education and law, from the Ivy League and the best universities that are out there, from the Princetons and the Harvards. And before your case can even come up to a judge for consideration, it's already been sifted by the clerks, and in this case, in the United Kingdom, I guess they're talking about the recorders. So this makes for a very robust and effective support system. It's interesting to note that the Deputy High Court judge metamorphoses is even committed to becoming a High Court judge, and which gives her longevity and experience on the bench. So she also mentioned about the delicate balance between diversity and merit that must be struck. And I think this is something we need to look at. The issue of diversity, which comes up in other countries, is also what is akin to what we have here as a federal character. And we need to also strike a very delicate balance. I think federal character here is more pronounced than over there. And I think we need to, whilst federal character is important, because the judiciary stands alone, it must not at all, it must not give way to merits. So I think all in all, once we're on the same page and we agree that the judges are extremely important, they're not called "my lord" for nothing. There's a reason why we have that qualification or that name, "my lord." You know, and they must be treated with reverence. They are very important. They must be above board. There must be no reproach to when it comes to judges, and that's why we must be very careful, very, very, very circumspect in how we appoint our judges. That once we agree that the judge has the capacity to mold policy, to shape the direction a nation is going to take, then we need to actually rejig our system. Our judges are there was a time, and even up until now, I read some judgments, and it gives me delight. When judgments, you read a judgment like you read literature. So we have judges that are competent, that have the capacity. But then again, I know Coinsola made a veiled reference to the fact that sometimes one rotten egg may destroy a whole basket. All in all, I think our judges are very stand-up, but I believe we need to begin to look at them again from a different monocle, from a different eye. That look, these are people that they are the ones that can determine where this country is going. In terms of democracy, you talk about checks and balances. The biggest check, I think, in the two arms of government is the judiciary. And so I think this is a very good a topic. This is something that I believe we should take seriously. Again, judges are very important when it comes to shaping policy. And that's, again, I refer to the United States. Perhaps the most important thing that a Supreme Court, or rather a president of the United States, can do, and what the citizens look at, is who he's going to appoint when there's a vacuum in the Supreme Court. Because a judge, like Professor Lumumba said, you cannot take away the fact that the judge is a person, first and foremost, with experiences, a wide variety of experiences, even though he's supposed to make judgments, dispassionately. But you have judges in the United States who are either pro-life, pro-gun, and what have you. And that's why it's important that we know who we're appointing. And if we do decide to go to reform the whole hog, who we're electing as a judge. So I'm here as a legislator, as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, to listen carefully, and to get some takeaways, and hopefully use those takeaways to inform what will best suit our circumstances in Nigeria. Of course, in terms of reform, Nigeria, to reform the judiciary, you need mostly a constitutional amendment, because that is the ground norm upon which all other judicial reforms may probably have to feed off of. So I thank you again, once again, for inviting me to this very important session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, Senate President. Thank you very much. And we give you all the respect, and we understand how challenging it was for you to join us. So we're most grateful. Perhaps what one would say is that Justice Mukhtar, who became the Chief Justice of Nigeria, in many of our speeches, particularly in a valedictory speech, did express some dissatisfaction with the process. And I'm sure during the course of discussion that will come up. But those expression of dissent or expression of dissatisfaction usually will come from the Supreme Court only towards the end. She was a reformist, but thank you very much, sir, and I'm sure there'll be a lot that will come to your platform for effective implementation in due course. Thank you very much, sir. I think
I'm sorry, sir. Just a quick second before I leave. I just wanted to make a statement, because after my statement, you did mention that you were restricting yourself to the UK system.
Wow.
I just wanted to say this, that if we're truly looking for reform in a way that would help our system, I don't think we should straitjacket ourselves into a particular system. I think if we look and explore our horizon, and I'm not even saying adopt the American system of elections, but I'm saying let's not shut it out, because we can't keep trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I think if we can possibly have a hybrid of systems, it may help and it may not. So basically, that's the point I wanted to make, that let's not straitjacket ourselves into one particular system. Let's borrow from here and from there and have a potpourri of ideas that would actually work for Nigeria. And that's it. Let's just open up our minds.
Yes, sir, you're absolutely right. I hope I did not infuse my own personal views in the discussion. That's why we're having this platform. I'm so sorry if I did. No. It's open for discussion. That's why we're here. Thank you very much for that intervention. Thank you, sir.